Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk with LNobbins. This is going to be quite a laid-back, chilled-out stream, I expect. I don't really have anything very specific to discuss about today like I did the last few shows where it's been like, we want to talk about Semenya, we want to talk about Gahey, we want to talk about Anderson, we want to talk about like a particular match preview or a rumour, that sort of thing. There's still a couple of topics I want to chat about, and that is the Guardiola rumours. It is of course, we play West Ham tomorrow, so we can chat about that, and also the fallout from the Brentford game, the good performances that we saw. Have some players proven that they should be starting tomorrow? West Ham at home is a very, very winnable game. It's a game that we should be looking to win quite comfortably. There's potentially room for rotation there, and it's the final game before Christmas as well, so there'll be a few days of rest. I don't know how many days it is exactly. Is it 7? Is it 7? I feel like it actually is. Let me double check that I'm not bullshitting. Yes, so there's like a full week in between tomorrow's game and the next one. There is obviously no midweek one because it is the Christmas. So the opportunity for players to potentially get rested and that sort of thing. Because as I say, we play tomorrow and then we play next game is on the 27th against Forest away. And then it's the New Year fixtures. And it's a pretty tricky start to the New Year. Chelsea, Brighton, and then lots of games all back-to-back. Exeter, Newcastle, United, Bodo Glimt, etc., etc. So lots to chat about today, despite me not really having a set structure, so maybe I lied in like the first 5 seconds. Maybe I will. Maybe I will have a set structure. We shall see what happens. So, but I'm pretty open for this to be a pretty chilled out, laid back show where it's more of a Q&A vibe. But make sure to leave a like on the video as you are coming in. It's free. Help support the channel. If you would like to do so and you want to help support the channel directly, then the best way to do that is to become a member of the channel. We are actually, across all platforms, we have surpassed 100 paid supporters of the channel, which is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for all your support. If you want to continue to the growth and development of the channel, then please consider clicking that link. It costs £3 a month if you would like to support your boy. But how are we all doing before we get into it properly? Hello. Yes, apologies for being late, Naveen. Hello. Hello, QQ. We got R-Swipe, great name. True Citizens, Livid. We're not live on Twitch for the Touchline Talks. No, Lewis. Spurs Scenes Outsiders, that's not news, is it? Oh, that's in reference to Semenya, is it? We can, of course, if people have questions about that, we can talk about that. Hello, Kedrick, Ariaman, Tawana, Jace, big up Sean. Post says Pep's not leaving till 2045. Good evening, Miami. Faisal, you turned 20 on Sunday. Happy birthday in advance, matey. Big up to you, into your 20s. Hello, Martin, the happy clapper. MJ window cleaning. Large slime. We got this prick here, the Knobbot. What a little bastard he is. Wide chill. We've got West Ham at home tomorrow, so South Fact, shush, mate. Hello, Typo. Do I have my PJs on? No, this is just a. It's just like it's more of like a holiday top, to be fair. No, I guess it sort of does look like something from like, I don't know, the 1940s pajama top, but no, it isn't. It's just it's a baggy. I mean, there were shorts that went with it, but I didn't want to purchase the shorts. I just wanted the top. And it's more of a holiday top, but it's nice and loose fitting, and I'm a loose guy sometimes. I play it loose and fast sometimes at the same time. Can I go live with LB? If I do that for Elbins already, yes. Hope you aren't leaving too. Never, Graham, never. Yeah, and we can definitely, I would like this to be more of a Q&A session as we as I get past the topics that I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to do is the thumbnail, and I think we can. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think it's all a bit of a nonsense, to be honest. Well, it came out yesterday, did it? That allegedly there are murmurings and whispers from those within the know and in and around Guardiola and City who believe that this may well be the last season of Guardiola at the club, despite him having a contract for 18 months. Oh, and everyone clapped, and everyone clapped. No, I'm totally willing to be proven wrong on this, and I don't really care if I am. But I will. I'll put my cock on the line. Bollocks. Obviously, there you go, Dom. Yeah, it's obviously bollocks. I'm not being funny, but I don't even think Guardiola himself knows when he's leaving City. Outside of the earliest he will leave is his contract expiring. He was supposed to not sign this extension that he has signed right now, but he did. The only person who really knows when Pep is leaving, in theory, hypothetically, is Pep, and I don't even think Pep knows when he thinks he wants to leave, because he keeps changing his mind as well. He was definitely going to go like last year or the year before, whenever it was, and he didn't go, and he signs an extension and he stayed on. So even if the guy himself doesn't know, in what world are external journalists supposed to be able to know? In what world? No disrespect to David Ornstein, but he's chatting the finest shite. It's not his fault. Well, it sort of is his fault because he's being a parrot, but he's getting fed shit and he's peddling the shit. So I guess it's not his fault that it is shit, but you could argue that it's his fault he's peddling the shit, whatever. But he doesn't actually have a fucking go-to with Guardiola's inner circle, does he? He just doesn't. And in fact, wasn't it even confirmed that, this is according to an external source, apparently. So why are we even giving this a time of day? Well, I know why. It's because it gets clicks. And because it gets people talking. And in fairness, I'm talking about it right now. So I'm eating the shit, aren't I? I'm eating the shit sandwich, and that's my bad. My breath's going to stink after this. But it's why I've not tweeted about it. It's why I didn't do that emergency meeting or whatever. Pep is leaving, that sort of thing. This is not an emergency. This is a non-story. There's nothing to it, in my opinion, and I'm totally willing to be proven wrong. And Pep says after the end of the season, BT Dubs, I'm actually leaving. And you could argue he's got to do this, but in the press conference today, he also rubbished it because, of course, he's going to rubbish it. These journalists don't have access to Guardiola's brain. I'll repeat. I'm sure even the people in the absolute highest positions of City, like the CEO and all these other people in and around him in really high positions, even the owner, the chairman, whatever, they won't know for sure when Pep is actually leaving. Because Pep doesn't even know, because he's always changing his mind. So it's a non-story, it's meaningless, it's just scaremongering. It's also probably come from a bit of Maresca's camp as well, because there's been lots of controversy and murmurings going on around his tenure at Chelsea, how he's not happy with the Chelsea higher-ups. Is this a story that's just been leaked from his camp to make Chelsea go, actually, we can't lose him to City, let's give him what he wants or whatever, let's actually stop dicking around and that sort of thing. This story has come from somewhere. The only thing that I'm borderline 100% confident on is that it's not come from Pep Guardiola's camp, it's not come from Pep himself, it's not come from anything relevant as to Manchester City or Guardiola. So, yeah, Pep is leaving. Yeah, as True Citizen says, potentially a ploy by Maresca's agent. We discussed this on the Twitch last night, in fairness, in brief. It just seems pretty obvious, because he's now got that super agent, hasn't he? And you can say, Nobbins, that's a bit conspiratorial of you, but it just isn't, is it? It just isn't. That's an interesting point by Fenway. Ornstein wasn't a go-to source for City. I wonder if Viana's more of a source for him now. Perhaps. But even if we want to say that Viana himself leaked it, I don't know why he would do that. But let's, for argument's sake, say that Viana did it. So, I don't know why. Some sort of power play. Viana does not know when Pep's leaving either, in my opinion. That's how meaningless I think it is. So, it's bollocks. I've not tweeted about it because I think it's bollocks. I don't care. It's gonna, and this is one of those things where it gets a lot of noise and traction now because clicks are a thing, but then it'll all get forgotten in a few months' time, and then he'll be managing us next season. And perhaps next season will be his final season when his contract expires. But someone just said in the chat there, Ryjack did there, look, he's not been at many clubs, but there is a clear precedent that Guardiola does not leave early. He leaves when his contract is up. He's never been sacked in his managerial career, which is insane, by the way, considering that he's been managing since 2008. So that's 17 years. That's pretty insane, of course. Never been sacked once. And he's never left early once either. So he probably never will be sacked either. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Pep will leave when Pep wants to leave. And no one will... He's not going to get sacked by City, obviously. And if he wants to stay, then he will stay. And that's what I mean by that. If Pep wants to stay, then the club will let him stay, and they'll give him an extension. It's also of what Guardiola wants. We know this, and we've known this for many a year, because that's the privilege you get by being the best manager, in my opinion, in football history, and certainly in the present. That is the privilege you get. The club will be happy if he stays, and I'm sure that when the time comes, they will have contingencies in place. They will know that he can't stay forever. Maybe he doesn't sign another extension. Who knows? Maybe he does leave in 2027. Perhaps that is a thing. But the club will have all these contingencies in place. So I don't really care about this. But Nobbins, you talking about it? Yeah. But it's in brief. We are discussing. I'm just rubbishing the claims. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. Let me know if you guys want to add anything to that, and I can come to it. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a non-story generated / manufactured by those who have an ulterior motive to do so. Perhaps that being Maresca's agents, perhaps that being someone else. Perhaps it's just because it's that there are slow news days and you just want some clicks being generated. But it's obviously come from somewhere. All we know really is it's almost 100% not come from Guardiola, who is literally the only relevant person in this entire conversation, is Guardiola. Viana isn't relevant, in my opinion, and the CEO, Soriano, is not relevant, in my opinion, and Khaldoon and Sheikh Mansour are not relevant, in my opinion. I actually don't care. I truly believe the only person that's relevant is Guardiola himself, and nothing else is going to be valid as to him staying or going or seeing out his contract or extending his contract. The buck stops with Pep, and that sounds mad because we have an owner, but I don't care. They clearly don't view him as someone who is disposable of. If he wants to stay for another 10 years, they'll give him the contract. We know that will happen. He's going to leave someday, and that'll be upsetting. But yeah, someone said it earlier, I think it was Ariman, said this isn't the first time we've seen an Ornstein story. It's not the first time we've seen any story like this in his, 9-year, well, no, it'd be 10, won't it, actually? Decade, I think, at the end of the season. Long stewardship of the club. Like, how long have we been having to put up with this? Well, basically, from his second season, as soon as he started winning stuff, people were immediately happy to try to link him away with a move away from City or just leaving City ultimately, whether that's a return to Barca, whether it's to somewhere else, I don't know. And it's not explicitly down to just the manager as well. Haaland hadn't even kicked a ball for City, and he was being linked with a move to Real Madrid. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So certain things I feel like only do really tend to happen with City, and I think we can chalk this up to one of those, in my opinion. Guys at 9320, big up to them, by the way. Believe there's someone in the club or from his camp who does this willingly every single year. Interesting. There's rumours of nothing new. Yeah, indeed. I know he's leaving. Brilliant. I'm gatekeeping. God damn it, true citizen. Tell us what you know. Big up to you, Silver Splits the Blue, big supporter of the channel. Absolutely, yeah, same bollocks every year. It's boring. Seems omniscient. Nice, mate. Pep wants to develop this current group of players. Yeah, because we know it's bollocks. But if we park that for a second and just try to frame it in terms that aren't shit, it is to a certain degree, new squad. Certainly a very exciting squad. In some instances, a relatively inexperienced squad also. There's been a big refresh that's gone on. Would you be willing to abandon that after a year? I don't think, well, half a year really, because you've already made the decision. I don't think you would. I think you'd want to have at least the season to amalgamate all those players, and then a season with all of them incorporated fully into the side. And then maybe once you see that all the players have been incorporated and integrated to your liking, you can then move on, knowing full well that you have rejuvenated the squad, you've brought down the age profile of the squad as well, and you've left it in great hands for the person coming in, so they don't have to, so they can just pick up and plug and play rather than having to rebuild a squad in their own image and try to do all this bullshit shithousery in the transfer market. I don't think that you would do that personally. So yeah, I agree, Slime, in all honesty. I agree. Any Bob news? I think it's a hamstring injury. Did we confirm? They were drafting a shortlist in case Pep goes 100% beyond. And as you say, that is normal because, as we just said earlier, it is a dual-edged sword, isn't it? You know, Pep decides when he wants to go. Okay, that's like good for us as fans, but it's sort of bad from a planning perspective from the club because they don't know whether he's coming or going. But as you say, they've got to have that in place just in case. Just a ploy to make me nearly spill my coffee. Thank you very much, user. Someone was insulting it earlier, saying it's a pajama top. No. It's from ASOS. I do quite like ASOS for clothes. I haven't had a wardrobe refresh in, I'm gonna say like I don't know, 5 years or 6 years or something, like a proper full-on refresh. And it wasn't really a refresh, but I wanted some new holiday clothes, and I had some ASOS vouchers as a hangover from Christmas, I'm pretty sure. So I popped off, and it was very good. Damn you, window cleaning, you little fraudster. I do agree with you, though, yes. Here. Films matches last season's goals and assists. That's fantastic from him. We love to see that. On this channel, we supported him, and we backed him, and we did not fucking dither or hesitate on that shit. Yeah? We bloody called out the lies on this channel, and we lost some viewers because of it. But did we give a fuck? Well, I certainly bloody didn't. I don't give a damn. Those people aren't welcome here as far as I'm concerned. And they can stay. They can stay barred from this channel. Little reactive bitches. They don't deserve to be here, yeah? They ain't real. Oh my god, it's been confirmed by Ornstein. Nobbins on the list of city managers. That's crazy. I'll have to go bald. Thank you very much, Adash. Nobbins was a shortlist to replace Pep before he bottled it. I did bottle it. Oh my god, yeah. So I mean, fantastic segue to plug the Twitch. If you weren't there last night, then oh my god, you missed everything. My main striker did his ACL in pre-season. I bottled the title, by the way, in the last day, lost a goal difference. So at the start of this season, I was like, okay, we're going to win it this year. My main striker did his ACL, so he's out for the whole season before a ball's been kicked. I went to go sign this star striker to replace him, and I bid £450,000 for him. He was going to be my main guy. And this other Irish club bid £350,000 for him, so 100 grand less. And I was mocking them, saying, get your money up, you little idiots. You know, look at you. He's never going to pick you over me. And he did. And he did, even though I'm the better club. I've got Nobbins has no pull, clearly. And now I have a 16-year-old's number 10 at striker because there's no other striker I can get. So, you know, so big up to me. Go follow the Twitch because you are missing out if you haven't already done so. Big up from the Philippines. Love that from you, Kenji. Mrs. Pep has a say. That's a good point, Sarfak, yeah. Where do you put questions for Ask Nobbins? I've not done an Ask Nobbins in a while just because I've been busy making other content and whatnot. But if you leave it in the comments of the most recent Ask Nobbins, then I will do that. The series will be coming back. I've just been focusing on previews and because it's the winter period, so there's games coming non-stop all the time. So it's very hard to do match specific content. So it will be coming back, of course, but it's seasonal. Yeah, big up to you, Beyond. Exactly, yeah, exactly. Good riddance to bad rubbish is what we say. We want a higher caliber of viewer on this channel, and those people aren't welcome here. They aren't welcome here. If you gave up on him after a subpar year where it was very clear there were a number of physical and mental problems going on, and the whole team were bad, and he still was our second best player RE output in the team, then I don't think you deserve you don't deserve to deserve to celebrate the wins either. You certainly don't deserve to be on this channel either, and I don't want you on this channel either. So yeah, they can hold that, little frauds. Now he's moving like Prime Arteta with these excuses. Chill. All I hear is excuses, Gaffer. Oh, and then that was the thing. The club he signed for, first day of the season, we were 2-0 up, and we lose 4-3. So that happened as well. I haven't had my haircut yet, Jack. Chill. Right, yeah. So that's Pep. That's the Pep situation. There's clearly nothing in it. It's a non-story. It's a nonsense, and it's just a desperate attempt by certain individuals to further their own standing and further their own position in a selfish manner, and as collateral they are throwing this shit out there, and that's all it is. This is a shit fight. If they throw shit at us, we'll throw shit straight back at them. We start a shit fight, as Glenn once said, in the thick of it, and there's lots of shit going on. This room stinks because it is surrounded by fecal matter right now. There we go. So that's Pep. I don't think we have anything else to say about that. Thoughts on Foden overtaking KDB career City goals 110 to 108 last week? Yes, I tweeted about that. I'm sure you guys will have seen the graphic that Manchester City posted in the at the end of the Club World Cup, and the actual artists of that post like commented underneath. I retweeted the graphic or whatever, or saved it, whatever. And the actual artist commented underneath, which is pretty cool. So I let them know how good the graphic is. And yeah, Haaland is now, I think, 1 goal behind Francis Lee, which is insane to think. He's on like 147, and I think he's like 8th highest at Haaland. And Foden is 16th on the list, and he's got 110 goals, which, as you say, is 2 more than Kevin, who was obviously more of a creator than a goal scorer, but still, it's still incredibly impressive. And he's 25, as you say. There could be like another decade of Foden at the club. It would not surprise me if by the end of their respective careers, Haaland were number 1 for scoring goals. Maybe Foden number 2. He'd have to get another 150 to get level with Aguero, which might not happen if he's having a deeper role rather than in his early years he's playing more of a wide player. So perhaps that's not realistic. But so maybe it will be Aguero second. But I'd still expect it to be Foden third, in all honesty, because if he can get, well, it's all competitions, isn't it? And Foden always gets double digits, even in this deeper position. How many goals is he actually on? Maybe we can like crunch some numbers. How long do we think Foden's going to actually be staying at the club for? I'd like to think until the end of his career, realistically. I'd think like at least another 8 years, but maybe even 10. Let Foden take penalties, yeah. He's already got 10 goals this season. So he always gets, since he's been properly incorporated into the side in 2020, he's always got double-digit goals. So, even last year, he still got 13. So let's say if he averages 15 goals, for argument's sake, in all competitions, that seems reasonable. What would that be? So that's 15. So if he was here for 10 years, well, again, that's maybe pushing it too much. Let's say 8 years. That's 120. So that will put him up to 230 goals, which is insane, isn't it? If he stays for another couple of years, then he could absolutely actually eclipse Aguero. Or if he has some higher scoring years in that, or who knows, maybe in like 5 years he takes the penalties. I don't know, but that's interesting to note, definitely. I think I get mixed feedback about the volume. Some people say it's absolutely fine, some people say it's low. I just recommend turning your volume up, that's all, because on my end I'm in the orange, so if I go any higher I'm going to peak, and I don't want to peak, I don't want to clip my audio. We don't know. I do a pet replacement. Me. Yeah? Me. That's who. Yeah? That's who. He will get a statue. Absolutely, he will. What kit number would I wear? Number 11. Give me number 11 right now. He could surpass Aguero, definitely. It would be tricky. He'd have to get 15. You'd have to average 15 goals a season for 10 years. But hey, if you have like a couple of 18 goal seasons or 19 or 20 plus maybe, then you only need like 6, 7, 8 seasons. So that could be a thing. Yeah, so that's Pep Park. Where I chat about the record, and I want to move on to players who we felt not proved a point, so that's not the correct turn of phrase, but perhaps proved to themselves and proved their worth maybe against Brentford in the League Cup, because we have a very, very, very winnable game on tomorrow against West Ham at home. So exactly, Fenway, yeah. So Savio for me would be one of those players. I think that he has to start against West Ham. He had a very good cameo when he came on against Real Madrid. He had a very good cameo when he came on against Palace. He had a very good start and an overall performance against Brentford. Arguably man of the match. For some people he was, for others he wasn't. He was up there for me. So surely this is the time to, especially with Doku being out, this is now the time for Savio to start. I think it has to be tomorrow. I would love to see him start. Unfortunately for him, it's probably going to have to be at left wing because Doku is injured and Marmoush is at AFCON. And we know that Foden can play there, like he did play there against Palace with O'Reilly pushing in. But maybe it's more realistic that Savio plays left wing instead. Otherwise, he'd have to probably rest Shirky. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you do just rest Shirky and don't actually start him against West Ham. I don't know. But either way, wherever he plays, Savio for me is definitely a player who has to start on Saturday. Who else did you guys pick out from the Brentford game who you think has earned a start against West Ham? Let me know. I've got a fair few players in my brain. Yeah, Phil could surpass Aguero, definitely. Foden will be the number one creator by the end of his career, says Sarfak. Pep's going nowhere till he's 75. We know about Samir's dream. What do you think about his defensive abilities? Yeah, we love that win take. So we've discussed that at length. They are very important factors, definitely. Will I dye my hair blue? No, I won't, mate. Nintendo says, so this is like the performances. Rico Lewis caught the eye. Reinders and Savio improved. I think more than a bit, in all honesty. Savio proved himself. Ake was incredible. Savio too. Savio and Kusanov. You want Savio on the right. Second half Kusanov was wonderful. But yeah, we have to specify second half because the first half was it was bad, in all honesty. But he came back into the game and he was fantastic in that second half, wasn't he? Enchok says Kusanov and let Diaz rest a bit. Big up to you, Ashkun. He did fine at Brentford at left wing. Maybe it's fine. Definitely Fenway. Could Shirky do a job at left wing? He definitely could, with O'Reilly pushing up. There's no doubt. Yeah, Kusanov. Ake, Kusanov, Savio looked like they were all starters. Kusanov, of course, still showing his rashness, but still great. Yeah, I agree with that in the second half. After the goal, you can see Savio playing with more confidence. Mainu not at City. Nah, no chance. It's not a player we need right now anyway. He did definitely Nunes. Unfortunately for Nori Nico is undroppable. Hopefully he has a really good... He had 100% successful action, so big up to Gray. Big up to him. Do we win the League Cup? I don't like saying Carabao, I just like to say League Cup. Yeah, I think we can. Absolutely, why not? I back us to get to the final, and then it's a final. You can beat anyone in the final. Brentford was surprisingly low energy poor. Some players did play well, but trying to not get carried away. Yeah, Brentford were bad, and I wonder how much because they rotated as well. Thiago wasn't even on the bench, their main goal scorer this season. And we know that they have a massive game this weekend against Wolves. Brentford are sort of edging towards being in a relegation battle. They have to beat Wolves to not get dragged into that. So they did rest a lot of players, and they perhaps felt that this wasn't a winnable game for them, so they rotated. They didn't exude that much, or expend rather, that much energy. So I do think that you are correct there. Yeah, I think that's, but they're both correct. Yes. Chucky's both-footed. Yeah, I think so. So long as O'Reilly's pushing up to facilitate him, I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't have a problem with that. Is that true? There you go. Damscow was playing up front with Sade. They were never going to be too hard. Good point, Large Slime, yeah. Exude, you know. It's a good word. That's a good word. Or is it extrude I'm thinking of? I don't think exude is a word. I think I'm thinking of extrude. Oh no. Exude is a word. Well, I don't think I was using that definition. The first one is with reference to moisture or smell, discharge, or be discharged slowly. I wasn't thinking of that. Of a quality, strongly and openly. Look at me! I know things. I think the word I was trying to say was... No, it wasn't. I guess it was exude. Yeah, I guess it was. There you go. I know things sometimes, yeah? I sometimes know things. Sometimes. Yeah, there we go. You see? I have lexicon sometimes. Yeah? I have lexicon. Yeah, Shirky goes wherever he wants. Pseudo intellectual final boss is crazy. There we go. Yeah, we spoke about that, Nintendo. In sum, we don't think there's much in it. So, I'm surprised no one really said Reinders. I think maybe one or two, but I guess the main focus is on Savio Kusanov. I felt Reinders did, in fairness, prove himself as well. I mean, he probably has to start anyway, based on the fact that, you know, we don't have Docker, which means we might have to move a central player further out wide, so it sort of lends itself to Reinders having to start anyway. But I felt Reinders did really well. Also, there were a couple of nice through balls from him. Some of really nice ball carries as well. He was getting very, very lovely. Still not quite there in all his actions, but he certainly looked much sharper against Brentford than against Palace, let's say. So I did like Reinders' game, and for me, it was between him and Savio, who were a man of the match, actually. So I did like the Reinders' performance, and I do think that he will be starting against West Ham based off that. I would like to see Kusanov start as well. Definitely. Maybe instead of Diaz. Because we know that Gvardiol is just very, very lovely. So perhaps it will be Gvardiol, Kusanov. Or would Diaz Kusanov be better? Because Kusanov's still a player who he clearly needs someone next to him to say, lad, calm down. It's okay. And Diaz would be more of that person than Kusanov. So perhaps, actually, maybe I've changed my mind. Maybe it would be Kusanov left centre-back and then Diaz right. Oh, no, it'd have to be the other way around, perhaps. I don't know. I'll think about it in my preview. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I'd like to see Kusanov start if possible. I'd definitely like to see Reinders start. 100% I want to see Savio start. And we're sort of limited. We're limited on other options because Bob got injured, so there's no opportunity for him to play. Foden still can't get a rest. He was supposed to be rested for that game, clearly. He had to come on. Pep brought him off as well again, so that just shows how obvious he was not supposed to really play or feature at all against Brentford. But he didn't exude too much energy. So perhaps it's fine for Foden to start, maybe. You'd guess Haaland would come back into the side. I just don't know what we're going to do with Shirky. Are we going to start him again? Or are we going to give him a rest and have him as a player who you bring on if you need to? In which case, do you play Savio right, Foden left, and then Reinders in the centre, therefore, wouldn't it? The word I'm after is exude, Naveen. I looked up the definition just to double check I was saying it right. Don't you worry about it. It's fine. Foden left, says Mario. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. But if you have O'Reilly, pushing up, then it's not really left, is it? It can be more so centre. Guys, there are numerous words that work. I could say expend, but exude also works. We looked up the definition. Don't make me do it again. I sometimes know some things, yeah? I'm going to keep saying it now. What was the word that I thought that I was like... Because I say wear in quite a lot. And I was like, well, if there's a wear in, there must be a wear on or a wear upon. And it is a word, because I was interested. I was like, well, if wear in exists, surely wear on also exists. And it does, but it's far more of an archaic word, and you'd never really use it in common parlance, especially. Where, like, you know, wear on, you know, that desk over there, that desk where on it lies. I don't know, let's say I'm talking about where's my dinner? That desk where on it lies, that sort of thing. I think that'd be the context of using where on, but you don't really use it anymore. It's an archaic term. I think it's Old English, but it's still a word. If you guys want to use that, if you want to use that, cause that was my aim, and I did actually put it in a. I can't remember if I put it in a video, or if I put it in like a stream or something, or maybe a tweet. I can't remember. But what is this? What is this B-drill doing on my screen right now? What is happening? I challenged myself. I was like, can I throw this archaic word in somewhere? And I did it, but I can't remember how I did it. I don't know. Need Diaz is too aggressive, says Master Chief. Can we play Ake left back? I think you could, definitely. Definitely. Foden can rest on his way back from Paris with the Ballon d'Or. Shirky has to play, says Fenway. He does not need rest, it's a good point. Big up to synonyms. I actually prefer antonyms, but... keep flexing your Collins dictionary. I'll do it. Company else to stay for the grammar lessons, in it. Whereupon is less archaic, says Winner Takes It All. English and Nobbins, yeah. Don't worry about it, Naveen. It's chill. Do we have a potential injury crisis on our hands? Not yet. I don't think we got to that point yet. In all honesty. Acronyms. Oh, you cheeky guy. But don't forget, guys, there's a difference between an acronym and an initialism. They're two different things, yeah? The more you know. The more you know. All my grades in English, I did get an A star at GCSE, and then I got an A at A level. And then I did English like the first year of university, and then after 3 months I was like, I'm going to ingest cyanide if I have to continue with this course. So I swapped it. I swapped my majors. I swapped my major with my minor. And then I didn't do it in second year from then on. Yes, I've got 12 copies and I read them every single day. That is what I do. Thank you, Musty. Thank you for exposing me, mate. Love that from you. I love that from you. Okay. What was I saying? I was talking about something then, and you guys have distracted me. Oh, the injury situation. I think it's just looking a lot worse than it is. It's more so like the cluster, I think. So it's the fact that we've got both Rodri and Kovacic out at the same time, which is a shame, of course. And yeah, okay, if Nico gets injured, then yeah, there's a crisis going on. We haven't yet got to that point then. Pep said himself, like, Nico's young, he's chill, he can play lots of games. Of course, at some point, we do need Rodri to come back, and I never thought I'd say that. We need Rodri to come back and take the load off another player. Hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. Right now, we are coping with it. It also doesn't help that AFCON has happened, and it doesn't help that that's coincided with Doku getting injured. So once we've got these players coming back, I don't think that it's going to look at necessarily as bad. Yeah, literally, we need Rodri to rest Nico. I never thought I'd be saying that. But it's December 2025, and strange. This is the year for weird things, yeah? The weird things in the world of Manchester City Football Club. Very, very, very weird situations. So I don't think there's an injury crisis. But I guess you're saying, is there a potential one? There's always room for a potential crisis. It only takes 1 or 2 injuries, like, to be in that situation. Like, so if they're concentrated, if you get like injuries across the board, then it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, if you get both your main centre backs injured, like Arsenal did with Gabriel and Saliba, then it's a good thing they've got very good alternatives. But you know. The more you know. The more you know. Calvin Phillips on the 6. Yeah, chill, Sarthak. That guy's done. I don't actually think we have a dictionary in this house, to be fair. We don't actually own a dictionary in this house. There's a few in my parents' house, but not we don't own one. We don't own one. We're luckily in Jan now, says Beyond Ultra, yeah. Anson Jan, I'm not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, in my opinion. Forest ain't selling. They're in a potential relegation battle. They're not gonna let go of their most valuable asset halfway through that. That could be the difference between them getting relegated and not getting relegated. Both this and last season are weird seasons, but this one is fun, yeah. Yeah, this is weird because at the start of the season, and in fairness, we weren't massively... no, I don't think we're at all doom and gloom on this channel, but we definitely accepted that we aren't the favourites, and it's quite unlikely that we will win the title, but it's more likely that we'll finish third. That's certainly what I said at the start of the season. But we can still win the title. That can still happen. And as the seasons go on, because again, there was a period where it was Arsenal's title, and they'd won it, basically. And we were only in October or November, but they'd already won the title at that point. And City were being ruled out outright. It wasn't even a conversation. It was, you got no chance at all. All of a sudden, hey, people are, they're looking over their shoulder, or they're looking in front of them, they're going, hang on, what are Pep's cheeky Blues up to right now? What's happening? What's occurring over there? So it's been a bit of a roller coaster so far, and maybe that's why it feels like such a long season, even though we're not even halfway there. We are in December, and the team's looking good. It's looking flawed. It's looking very flawed, but I think that Liverpool illustrated, in fairness, last season. I know Liverpool won the title last season and they were impressive, but I still think that was a very flawed Liverpool squad and a very flawed Liverpool side. I was very surprised that they won the title. I thought it was going to be one of City or Arsenal. Of course, injuries happened, and that's a shame. But Liverpool didn't have to be perfect to win the title last season. And not saying that we are going to do that, but this idea that you have to be, because, and I get it, there is this obsession with wanting to, I'm not going to say drag something or someone down, but there is always an eagerness to try to be pessimistic / realistic and look at negatives more so than positives. So I feel like every time I go on one of those Sky segments, for example, I think nearly every single time I go on, I'm asked about, but is City's defence good enough to win the title? And because, of course, that's the thing people want to focus on, and that's not necessarily a problem. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect to necessarily win the title. I think it has to be better than what it is right now. But I'm not willing to say that this City side can't win it. I still think that we can. I still think there's quite a good chance, and it's a higher chance that I gave us at the start of the season, because I thought we were third favourites. Now I'd say we're second favourites to win the title. So we've already gone up one step in my estimation. So that's the thing. You know what I mean? Thankfully, even if we get to the crisis of January window is open, I guess you could try to make some sort of move if you desperately needed to do something. You can't have 3 sixes that's all are good enough to come in and do a job. It's a good point, Spartacus. It's a shame. Good afternoon from Manchester. Big up to you, Ryan. Imagine being a law graduate with a master and not owning a dictionary. Shake my head, not good enough. I am sorry. I've let you down. I've let you down there, guys. I apologise. Michael Richards ruled us out in November. Yeah. You look, after the... I remember after the Spurs game, and this is why you've got to stick to your guns sometimes. There's a difference between being, like, unduly stubborn and not flip-flopping. Because we know that football is a very flip-floppy sport, certainly with, like, fans. And I stick to what I said after the Spurs game where we lost and everyone was losing their shit and everyone was saying that Spurs were amazing, they outplayed us and City look a shadow of their former selves. And it was unfortunate that the Brighton game happened literally straight after and we did look bad against Brighton. I think that was just confirmation bias though. I still stick to what I said after the Spurs game that I don't think that we were bad against Spurs and I felt that we were unlucky to lose 2-0. I felt that we actually probably could have and should have won that game. We certainly should have drawn it. We made a very poor error. Like Trafford, it was a poor error that he made. I think it was a Stones error from the first goal as well, and that was a poor error. That was a shame. And then we were also bad in front of goal. But Shirky created a fantastic chance for Haaland, and then Haaland should have squared it to whoever was running onto it, but didn't. Foden put it on a plate for Rodri from the corner, and he just hits it straight to the goalkeeper. There were plenty of options there for us to win, and I still maintain that people were throwing their toys out of the pram far too quickly early in the season to rule us out. Because as you say, like people thought that we were done that early, and it wasn't. I don't think it was ever going to be that straightforward. How many times did we say in the summer, if this side can just be within like a result or two of whoever is in first, whether that's Arsenal or Liverpool, it's obviously going to be Arsenal. Marmoush's chance as well. Oh God, I forgot about that. No, you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, I think there may have been even another one from Marmoush as well. You're absolutely right. If this side can just be within a result or two of whoever is first, probably Arsenal now, by the time that our team has clicked, and I still don't think it's properly clicked, by the way. I still think there's a lot to improve upon, and I think we will get better, so long as, obviously, this is barring any ridiculous injuries. I think come February, like late Feb or early March, I think the side will be a lot better than it is right now, and that's probably when I expect it to click. As long as we can stay within touching distance when that happens, then we have a fantastic chance to win the title. Why can't we? There are lots of ifs there, and there are lots of hypotheticals. But I don't think it's beyond the realm of reality to win the title, for us to win the title this season. I don't think this is going to be a title. In fact, I think Beyond said it. Yeah, feels a bit like the 2020-21 team that won the league. I don't think this is going to be an especially high points total season. I don't think we're going to be hitting... I certainly don't think we're going to be hitting the 90s. And I don't think we're going to be even hitting high 80s either. It might be more of like a mid to upper mid 80s title. Was it 84 points that won the title last season? Or maybe it was 86, I'm not sure. I don't think this is going to be a very high points total season for whoever wins the title. The league's winnable with 86, says most. I think that is the case. So we don't have to be... I think hopefully City can go back to it, but gone are the seasons, certainly in the now, where you have to be borderline perfect to win the title. It's not 2019 anymore. It's 2025, and the turns have tabled. You don't have to be perfect anymore. So yeah, we aren't perfect, but do you have to be? Perhaps you don't. Of course, you'll always aim for perfection. We should aim to be better, and we can get better, but just because there are weaknesses and frailties in City sides, okay, fine, but there's weaknesses and frailties in every single side in the Premier League this season. Even Arsenal, who are the favourites, they haven't looked imperious in all of their games, have they? They struggled at home against Wolves, and they beat them in the end, and you can say that's a sign of champions, absolutely. At the end of the day, they're on 2 points, and they couldn't get a shot on target against them. That's not a side who's going to dominate the Premier League and win with 95 points, is it? Keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. It can happen this season. It can happen. It shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. Arsenal should win the title. And if they don't, oh my goodness, that would be hilarious. But I think. This guy, Spartacus, man. How did we lose against Brighton? That match hindered my confidence for City. Well, we were just very bad in that second half. We didn't have... Well, Foden was injured, so he couldn't play. I think, was that the game where Ait-Nouri got injured as well after the fact? So he may have been playing with an injury. That was before... It's hard because that was before Gvardiol got back into the side as well. I think I might be wrong there. I think Diaz and Kusanov started that game. So we hadn't had Gvardiol on the side. Do we have Rico Lewis at right back? Yeah, Doku didn't start. Oh yeah, there was a Nunes penalty. Oh yeah, of course, a Nunes penalty. But in fact, I'm going to have a look at that team. Just see like what was the starting 11. I don't think we played particularly well that day anyway, and there was a massive error. But it was also a not settled City side as well. Oh, Rodri started. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it was a different goalkeeper, a different left back, a different sense. No, sorry, it was Kusanov Stones. So it was Trafford, Ait-Nouri, Kusanov Stones, Rodri, Marmouche, Reinders, Bob. So if you consider what is our best team, I think we can probably say most people's preferred starting 11 is the one that we saw against like Bournemouth, Liverpool, that team. That's 8 different players compared to the one that certainly I would consider, perhaps you do as well, our best team, or certainly close to the best team. The defence is just... Trafford was very good against Brighton, by the way, you're absolutely right. But just for the POV of change, 3/4 of the back four are totally different. Stones started that day. Kusanov started that day. Ait-Nouri started that day. The attack, it had Marmouche instead of Doku. It had Bob instead of Cherki. There was no Phil Foden starting because he got injured against Spurs, so he couldn't play that day. O'Reilly and Doku came on, but they didn't start, and they're now part of our core starting 11. So it's always tricky early in the season when you haven't quite figured out what your best team is, and we clearly hadn't figured out our best team. And also, those players still should have won. Didn't help that Nunes made a silly error from the penalty, but yeah, there are many reasons, and I think that's the worst we've played all season, in my opinion. That's the worst game. Every other game where we've dropped points, and even lost, I've thought, well, we didn't actually play that bad. We probably could have got a draw or even a win. Like the loss against Villa, I felt that was a draw. Loss against Newcastle, I felt that was a draw. The Leverkusen game's a good point, actually. I forgot about the Leverkusen game. You're not wrong. We did deserve to lose that game. Yeah, so I'll have to amend that statement. Yeah, you are correct. But certainly in the Premier League, at least, I didn't feel we deserved to lose against Villa. Didn't feel like we deserved to lose against Newcastle. Felt we could have beaten Arsenal. Was there another draw we had? Have we only drawn one game this season? Question mark. Have we only drawn one game all season in the league? Is that right? Yeah, we have. Wow. And that could have been a win, but for a silly error right at the end. That would be mad. If we didn't make that error right at the end, we would have had 0 draws all season. That's insane. That's a madness. Yeah. Interesting. I think the team clicks next season. That's probably correct, to be fair. Hello, children of the vibe. Everything's overblown. People rage bait for content. Not over here, though, hopefully. Also go to a game thinking about not losing instead of winning it. This bridge gives us too many draws, says Spartacus. Gives you too many draws, sorry, yeah. Yeah, the turns have tabled. If they don't win it, I think you probably... The argument will be who's the better manager. But I am sorry, if he doesn't win it this year, and I feel like we are saying it every year, it has to be... If he keeps getting the chances with all the money that's been spent, and there's nothing wrong with spending money, by the way, and all the great players they have, if he doesn't win it, at what point do you go, like, well, you were going to win it sooner rather than later, just about how many times you attempt it? It's just a bit insane at this point, isn't it? It does feel inevitable, but they have to win it this year. But I said that last year. But if they had to win it last year, okay, maybe you can have the excuse of injuries, even though I think that's been overblown as well. Because you had the January window, you could have done something. But there you go. You were still in the title race in Jan. Yeah, he's got to win it this year. And if he doesn't, I seriously don't understand. Because they should have won it in 2023. Okay, the argument of they overperformed that year, and they did. No one expected them to actually try to compete for the title, but they should have won it in 22-23. They had 50 points halfway through the season. They were on Centurion form, and they capitulated. Okay, you put that down to inexperience, whatever. Next season, 23-24, they had to win it then as well. I feel like that was the year where there was no excuse at all, because even 22-23, oh, but Saliba got injured for the past few weeks, or oh, the team just weren't ready yet. Okay, fine. Even though I don't agree with all that, fine. Let's park that to 1 second. There's zero excuse for 23-24, though. Like, seriously, no excuse. That's just bad. That was bad that they didn't win the title that year. Okay? And yeah, we had players who saved us that season. They should have won it, but they didn't, and it was their own fault as well. 24-25. Okay, they did have a lot of injuries. It's been blown out of proportion, but they did have a lot of injuries, of course. But they also had a January window to do something. So of course, they can be upset about all the attacking injuries. But in January, they still had a chance to win the title. They could have signed a striker because they knew that they were purely, this was before the Havertz injury, but Jesus was already out, and I think Saka was injured at that point, and they didn't have anyone else, essentially. I can't even remember what their front threes were in that period, but it was bad. It was bad. They had the chance to sign a forward. They didn't. Another injury, done. That's self-inflicted. I still think they should have done better that year. They certainly should have finished a lot higher than us, RE points. I think there was only one result in it in the end, which is insane, considering how shit we were last year. If it doesn't happen this year, I don't know. I actually seriously do not know what happens if they don't win it this year. They have to. They have to. They're not necessarily going to, but they have to. If they don't, then there is seriously no justification at all. Yeah, Trafford was good against Brighton. Yeah, I like Trafford was really good against Brentford as well. I know that they didn't have too many shots against us, but he saved everything he had to save. Fine saves, and the ball playing was really nice. I'd be lying if I said I haven't missed that. There was one moment in particular where if sounds stupid, but if Bob were Savio, then Trafford might actually would have had a shot assist, for example. That's how good one of his balls was. Yeah, I really like the Trafford performance. It's a shame he'll go to a probably Newcastle maybe, and I'm sure he'll have a very good career. So it's a shame, but it's a thing. Yeah, Leverkusen was the worst match. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've removed that from my brain. Also, that's a tricky one to assess because it was 10 changes or something like that, 9 changes. So that's a tricky one. Worst game was Liverpool at home, only won 3-0, not good enough. Yeah, the turns have tabled. Yeah. Did Kassanov not get injured before things went to shit versus Brighton? That might be right. But I think that Kassanov was also a little bit guilty of being quite rash when he didn't need to be. And this is, you could argue this is clutching at straws, but at the end of the day, he was rash, which led to a free kick, and that free kick led to the Nunes handball. Of course, that's mainly Nunes' fault, but it's still worth noting that had he not been rash in that moment, the free kick doesn't happen, the penalty mistake doesn't happen, the comeback doesn't happen, and then perhaps City don't lose the game. So that does have to be viewed as well in fairness. But yeah, you are right that overall Kassanov did play well that day. 23-24 was too close for comfort. It was a good title race in fairness. Big up to Foden for winning it for us on the last day of the season. And just being our best player that year as well. Insane. My grandmother had wheels, should have been a bike. Newcastle are stupid if they don't sign him. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Cool. Yes. So we've spoken about the Guardiola situation. We've spoken about who we think might deserve to start this Saturday. And yeah, and we've spoken about that within the context of West Ham and just in the context of the Brentford match. How long have we been live for? Just over an hour. Okay, cool. Cool. So we'll be here for like another 20 minutes or so. Don't go anywhere, guys. I don't know if there's another topic that I want to talk about or whether we just want to just have like a general chit chat now, as we do tend to do with these Touchline talk streams. So maybe we can just have like a general Q&A vibe right now. What are we saying? Talking about mangoes. Okay, interesting. Do we feel confident Cassava is ready to be our number 3 right centre back right now? I'm worried about his bozos costing us points if he starts too many Premier League matches. Ideally, I don't think we'll know until the end of the season. I need more of a sample size because, I mean, that game against Brentford was the definition of inconsistency, wasn't it? It was fantastic second half. It was terrible first half. Is that because the player is inconsistent, or is it because the player has not played that many games? So as he got into the game and as he got minutes in his legs and as he calmed down as the match went on, was he then able to illustrate how his actual ability? So it's a tricky one there. That's why I'd like him to start against West Ham, because I still don't know. Feels like a bit of both says beyond. I still don't know. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for the first half because, again, he's not played that much this season. I like to see him start against West Ham, and then we can take it from there, because that should be a nice game for him. Should be a good game for him to start, hopefully. Worst game of the season was Monaco. Watching the game was painful, says Ryan. I miss your starting 11 prediction. I've not done it. I've not done a preview yet for West Ham yet, matey. That will be coming out later today. You know what I mean, Musty? Why do you shout at me? Kasanov was the leap before the injury. I'm going to take issue with this statement. When we did the tier list of like City players, and we came to Kasanov, and lots of people wanted me to put him in like the second highest tier or something. And then we looked at how many games he's played and the performances. I don't know if I agree. I think that, because what games did he play? He played against Brighton, and he was fine. We spoken about him giving away the free kick. He played against United at right back, and he was, again, fine that day. This isn't me trying to downplay it, but I'm just providing it for context. Respectfully, he was up against Dorgu. Was he that good that day? He didn't have anything to do. United attacked down their right through Mbumo and Ahmad. I don't think United really wants even attack down their left, because Dorgu is shit and he's a left back and he's your left winger that you're up against. So that happened, and they played 45 minutes against Arsenal, and he was mostly very good. There was one moment where Trossard did him, and he played against Napoli as well, and they were down to 10 men for the vast majority of the game. I don't agree that he's been elite before the injury. The only game out of, because he played against Brighton where he was good, but made a rash challenge which led to the free kick. He played against United and had a good game but had nothing to do. He had one half of football against Arsenal where he was good, apart from that one error. And then the injury happened. I don't know if I'm missing something, or maybe I'm missing a game, but and don't get me wrong, I like Kusanov a lot. You guys know I do. I think he's a very fun player. I think, how many times have I said I love my defenders to be active. This is why, even though I think Van Dijk is the best centre back in Premier League history, I hate how he defends. I hate how passive he is. And I'll still accept that he's the best centre-back in Premier League history. I'll accept that, fine. But I hate that style of defending. I want my defender to not necessarily have to get stuck in, but I like it when they actively engage, and that is what Kusanov is. So I love his style of defending. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to come across as like I'm not a fan of him. But at the same time, I don't really get where this has come from, that he should be starting over Diaz, or he should be starting over this player, or like before the injury he was like a fantastic. I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree. Third enough ball, what a boy. We've not spoken about Echeverry, no. His Leverkusen loan has been terminated. Idiot. And he's hopefully going to go to a club where he'll actually like play football or whatever. I assumed that he'd gone to Leverkusen because I liked the concept of the Leverkusen loan. I was like, oh my gosh, he'll play Champions League football. Great. And perhaps this is me being naive, I took it as read that he would have some sort of assurance RE starting time. He is that correct? He has accepted Girona. I've not seen that. No. Who said that? Where's that come from? Is that legit? If so, that's good that he's accepted Girona. Big up. Big up, big up. I just assumed he would have had some sort of arrangement where it's like, okay, I will play this many games or whatever. And it hasn't happened. So clearly it was an error. And I didn't really get what he was doing with the whole River Plate thing. I want to go to River Plate. What sort of mentality is this? What are we doing? Respectfully, what are you going to learn at River Plate? Exactly, Spartacus, yeah. What are you going to get there? What are you going to learn back in Argentina? Again, with respect. How is that going to help develop you as a player? Go on loan to a European club where you're actually going to learn something. And yeah, that's exactly what it is, Iron Man. It's 6 months wasted. It's just... What's the point? What is the point? Yeah, Kusanov decent but wasn't elite. Yeah, I think so. Again, I'll repeat, I do like Kusanov, but I don't think there's a full 90-minute match from this season where he's been elite defensively. I'm going to fact check myself there. Because sometimes I do talk bollocks, don't I, in fairness? And by sometimes, I mean all the time. Brentford, great second half, not good first half. Bayer Leverkusen, I thought it was fine. Perhaps question marks about the first goal, but I thought it was fine, but I don't think he was elite that day. Swansea didn't have a good game. Arsenal, very good first half. Got injured. Napoli up against 10 men. There was one moment where... Who's there? Is it Spinazzola? Spinazzola did him one time, but then they were down to 10 men, not a problem. United had a very easy game against Dorgu. Brighton, we've discussed. And yeah, that's it. That is it. So yeah, I don't agree. TBH. Definitely not respecting Dorgu. That guy is ass. That guy is ass. Was it Grimaldo against Leverkusen as well, Spartacus? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 6 his ass out. Is Van Dijk passive, or does he just make things look easy? I think he's passive. Because by passive, what I mean is he backs off always. And now maybe, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because the reason why he does that, I believe, is because, or certainly when Alisson was there, you can be a bit more passive and like close down the angle less and therefore take less risks if you back your goalkeeper to save the shots from the minimal angle that you are giving them. So I'm not actually saying there's anything wrong with backing off. Sometimes it's the correct play. This is a personal agenda I have. I just prefer active defending. And I'm framing this as an agenda. I accept. This is a personal preference. I prefer my defenders to be more active than backing off and not engaging. I want them to step up. And I know that sometimes that's not the correct call. This is just a personal preference thing, though. And yeah, that's just a personal thing. It does look stupid when they score, obviously, but in terms of like the probability game, it's probably the best thing to do. We can laugh at it and we can mock, and I'll repeat, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, clearly it works more often than not, but it is funny. It does look quite funny. I just like my defenders to be aggressive when the time is right and engage like that. Yeah, if you could find it, that'd be great, Musty. Thank you. I didn't realise it had happened. Echeverry has agreed to join Girona on loan for the second half of the season. Excellent. That's good for him. That is good, because he should be, because we obviously have a very good relationship with Girona. And yeah, they are in a relegation battle. Who knows? Maybe he can be the difference between them getting relegated and not. And I don't know what we'll do next year. You know my thoughts on Echeverry. I'd be staggered if he actually makes the City because we signed Shirky. Stranger things have happened, of course. But maybe the season after, maybe send him on loan to, you have a full 12-month loan somewhere, whether that's in League A to get some physicality, whether it's the Premier League so we can get up to speed with the pace of that league, or a full season with Girona if they survive. I don't know. Maybe another season would be on the cards. This guy. I hope so, Fenway. Well, he's a left back being asked to play basically as a left winger quite a lot. He's just got no offensive capability, really. Playing in relegation battle is good. Same as playing... Yes, I do like that, Musty, with the pressure points, definitely. Yes, definitely. And this is, again, sorry to toot my own knob, but this is something that we explored in the analysis video when I said one of the reasons why I don't like him playing at right back is because if it is just a battle of pace, like it was sometimes against Vinicius, because people always bring up that Real Madrid game. Here's the thing, though, because there was a mixed performance that day with Madrid. When Vinicius made it a game of pace and strength, there was one winner, and that was Kusanov. When Vinicius slowed down and then sped up, and then when Jude Bellingham did the same and made it a bit tricky for him, he struggled and he got beaten every single time. So he's a very specific form of positive defending he can do out at right back. If it plays to his strengths, which are pace and power, beautiful. But if it doesn't play to his strengths of, as you say, changing the rhythm and slowing down, which is what tricky wingers can do, then he's going to have a bad time. Jonah playing Brian Gill at left wing. What a boy. Yeah, big up to Prime Kyle Walker. What a beautiful boy. Did you know that oil posts attract loads of whale sharks? I did not know that, Spartacus. Excellent factoid there. I think we can just remove that fourth, fifth, and sixth words there, in all honesty. No, the fifth and sixth word there. Actually, no, we can remove the first word as well and get rid of that question mark. Just keep the second word. No, swap the first now. There's too much change going on here. Too much change. Swap the first two words, get rid of the question mark, and get rid of rhythm changing. Doku is the best winger. Just leave it there. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm so smart. I'm so intelligent. Oh, that was so not slick, was it? I'm such an idiot, man. Hello, Oozle. You have to cut losses. I don't know if we have to cut losses, but, I've lost the plot. Yeah, I'm having a mare. Guys, yeah. That's an IKEA sentence. You guys figure it out yourself. I'm such a big brain boy. I'm tired, in case you guys couldn't tell. I'm such a big brain boy. Can Doku win the Ballon d'Or? Yeah. Yeah, why not? City would have to win the Champions League, and he would have to be our... Actually, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, because the only way that Doku can win the Ballon d'Or is if, obviously, City win the Champions League. And that's what I'm thinking, Fenway, yes. Because if City win the Champions League, exactly, Musty. Doku, even if we say Doku is our best player that year, what would Doku's best season be? Unless he massively changes as a player, what would Doku's best asset to the team be? It would be creating for the big man in the middle. And we know, rightly or wrongly, that those goals that Doku would be creating for Haaland would be the main highlight rather than the creation themselves. So even if Doku were to have a Ballon d'Or year for City, resulting in City winning the Champions League, unless Haaland had like a mare, Haaland would probably win it because he's Haaland, he's the main goal scorer. So, yeah. Unless he did add a load of goals to his game as well, then perhaps it's a different conversation. Perhaps. Or if Belgium win the World Cup, yes, that would have to happen, wouldn't it? Belgium would have to win that. He'd have to be their best player, and City would have to win the Champions League, or the league, maybe, and without Haaland being by far and away City's best player, I think. Yeah, if only Doku were... Actually, no, to be fair, Hazard was there, wasn't he? Although he would have played on the right, wouldn't he? Who was Belgium's right winger in their golden generation? Was it Mertens? No, it wasn't, was it? Was it that Atletico Madrid player? Was it Carrasco? Was he their right winger? Because they had Hazard left. They had De Bruyne centrally. Well, sometimes they didn't, but when they were good, they had him centrally, obviously. They had Lukaku up top. Who was on the right? Was it Carrasco? Or Mertens? I know sometimes they did play with wing backs, didn't they? Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. Either way, Doku probably improves that side as well. Because he's the boy. Can't believe Roberto Martinez. I still can't believe Roberto Martinez was given the keys to that Belgian golden generation. I will literally never, ever forgive him for ruining that team. What's the point of you? And they were the best team in the World Cup in 2018. I don't give a damn what anyone says about that. I don't care. I actually don't care. Belgium were better than France that year. I don't give a shit. Oh. Yeah, this is like me watching De Bruyne playing it to Lukaku in a game that matters. Like against Croatia. Oh my God. What a horrible performance that was from Lukaku. How many big chances did he miss that day? How many chances did Kevin create that day for his shit teammates? Good God. Good God. People have the cheek and gall to criticise Kevin De Bruyne for saying that he's the reason why. Mate, in the must-win game against Croatia in the group stages, he was the only one actually playing. And okay, he didn't play well in the past two games, whatever. He didn't play well against Canada. You won, who cares? He didn't play well against Morocco. You lost. Everyone played shit against Morocco. The only good player there was Kevin De Bruyne. And Croatia got really far in the tournament, didn't they? Didn't they get to the semis? And they would have been there instead of bloody... Yeah, they got grouped, exactly. They would have been where Croatia got to. They could have got... That team could have got to like a semi-final against Argentina. Or a quarter-final against Argentina. Whoever it was in the semis. Or the quarters. I don't know. It was when Messi did Yoshko, unfortunately. Was it the quarters? Either way. Either way. They did. I can't remember. It was either quarters or semis. I'm sure one of them was Dutch or Croatian. I can't remember the order. It was semis. There you go. That could have been Belgium right there. I'm not saying that they would have won that day, but would have been better than bloody being grouped. Probably musty. Can't believe that. Can't believe that. I tell you who scored against Brazil that one year. My boy. My boy, Kevin. Kevin. Dunking on Neymar. Yeah, they beat Morocco in the... What's it, did they? Dino, shush, mate. That's my boy, King Kevin. M says, Docker's game mad hyped for essentially one good month. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. M. We're going to have to fact check this. We might have to do some myth busting here. He was absolutely fantastic against Real Madrid. That's a December game. He was fantastic against Sunderland. That's a December game. He was... great against Fulham. That was a December game. Good against Leeds. Don't think he played against Leverkusen. He was great against Newcastle. That was a November game. He was the best player on the pitch against Liverpool. That was a November game. He was very good against Dortmund. That was a November game. I can't remember the Bournemouth game. I can't remember. I feel like it was fine. And then we get into, so you said September. Who'd he play against October? I feel like he was fine against Villarreal and Everton as well. I can't remember that much. I'm gonna hard disagree there. I've at least November and December. I disagree in the strongest terms. In all honesty, I mean that Liverpool game especially was obscene from him. Did it work? It's not quote though, Musty, is it? It's HOS. Look at this fraud. Musty doesn't even know the system. Little bastard. I don't know if it'll work though. He was good against Bournemouth. I can't remember the Bournemouth game. I remember Shirky popping off. And Foden popping off. I can't recall. I'm sure Doku probably played well as well. I'm sure that was a thing. That's a tough take. Yeah. Yeah. I just can't agree. I simply cannot compute. Right. Is there anything else we want to discuss? I feel like we have been live for a decent amount of time. If my brain nearly did a fart earlier. Let's get up to 115 likes though, guys. Did that work? Can you try it in all? Wait, didn't we experiment last time? Can you try it in all lowercase? Because didn't we try to make it that a thing? If I try this, if I do that, what happens? Right. Try it in all lowercase, because that seems to work. What a quote this was, by the way. Absolutely insane. I have no idea if that's worked. I don't know. I will add it after the fact if not. But it should have worked. Where is it? Quotes. No, it's not added. I don't know why it wouldn't have added though. You must be trolling, mate. You've got to be trolling, haven't you? I'll try, okay. I'll copy and paste it. Got it. Hello, Bicycle. How are you doing, mate? Let's see. Okay. Oh. It only likes it when I do it, but it's not actually done the thing anyway. How weird. I wonder why it's not working. Oh, wait. There shouldn't be a space between HOS and ads. I think. There we go. Maybe only I can add them then, even though I've set it so you can add them. Weird. Right, sorry, but you have, unfortunately, made the Hall of Shame. I didn't mean to set it up for myself. Only. I didn't mean to. For some reason, only I can do that. I'll need to look into that. Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. I'm sorry, but you are, unfortunately, a member of the Hall of Shame. Unfortunately, MC17 You're part of an illustrious group now, I'm afraid. It's all good fun, but that's going to be immortalised, unfortunately. That's going to have to be immortalised, I'm afraid. Does Mrs. Nobbins also hear the alarms? No. No. Yes, those are purge sirens. Because that's like a meme thing, isn't it? No, they're not bars. Emma's not banned or anything, of course. It's just you're added to the Hall of Fame, that's all. Hall of Shame, that's all. Yeah, I will need to I don't know why it's done that. For whatever reason, only I can add them and only I can activate them. And I don't know why, because that shouldn't be the case. Can you unban Musty? Because I didn't say ban, hello? That's a joke, yes. Okay. If that's not a joke, can you please unban? Thank you. I'll look into that because the whole point is everyone should be able to do the Hall of Shame, but for some reason only I can activate it seemingly, which is not how it's supposed to work. You can ban if Musty's actually banned that person, then yeah, okay, good. I can't because I don't get a thing come through when someone says that, so I have to trust you guys when you do that. Yeah, you don't get banned for doing a Hall of Shame take unless I'm like, right, you're barred. Oh dear. All of Manchester hears the alarms. Open the window next time it goes off if you're local. Oh dearie me. We will be there, says Em. Hey, in fairness, Em, we're not talking about the future. We were talking about what has happened. We were talking about the past. So it doesn't matter if Doku is bad from now until the end of the season. Because your statement was about the past, you cheeky. Yeah, we might have to ban Musty, to be honest. Like, this guy he's been swinging his balls all over the place, thinking he's the big I am for however many years in this community, and it's time for him to learn his bloody lesson, yeah? What's the future of Marmouche? Will he leave? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, but if we did bring in Semenyo, then it would, of course, be a big question mark for at least one of our wide players. Maybe Marmouche counts in there as well, because if Semenyo is more of a goal scorer than a creator, and if the whole point of bringing in Marmouche was to be this versatile forward player, but if we're bringing in another versatile forward player, is that suggesting that we feel that Marmouche hasn't lived up to that brief? Is it suggesting that we feel that he can't do it? I do not know, in all honesty, but it wouldn't be good just for a minute's POV, even though they aren't especially similar players. There's only so many minutes that can go round, and that's the thing. I don't see Semenyo doing well at City. It would be interesting to see because, like, a lot of Semenyo's really good actions do come on counter-attacks, don't they? In the same way that Marmouche's did, in fairness. How is he going to be up against more steady state defenses? That's a question to ask. If I were him, I probably wouldn't go to City. I'd probably go to, if Liverpool are interested, I'd probably go to Liverpool. Or if Arsenal are interested, I'd probably go to Arsenal. Because, in my opinion, he's better playing off the left, and they need a left winger more so than they need a right winger. Whereas if we were signing him, I'd assume we'd be using him more so to play off the right. So if I were him, I wouldn't go to City. I'd go to Arsenal, or I'd go to Liverpool, where I'm going to be like a guaranteed immediate upgrade. Because if he goes to Liverpool, he's immediately in the starting 11. He's better than whatever they have right now, which is like Gakpo and whatever. Arsenal. I mean, he'd be a dream for Arsenal because of how good he is off ball as well. Who do they have at left wing now? Trossard and Martinelli. That's their main go-to options, isn't it? If Eze is playing centrally, he immediately goes in starting player. So if he wants to have an optimal career choice, he should probably go to Liverpool or Arsenal if they are indeed in for him. something to note. I want Marmish to work. I'm growing increasingly concerned we don't play the right tactics for him. Yeah. And even with the whole Doku going in playing more centrally, part of the reason why that works is because Doku is able to get involved in the midfield, and he is able to, because he's got such a good first touch on him, hasn't he? He's able to overload centrally and help play nice, intricate football with Foden and Cherki. Whereas we know that Marmoush's first touch, again, you'll know this obviously if you watched him, you watch him for City, if you watch him at Frankfurt, his first touch isn't an especially great strength of his in small spaces, really. And that's something I noted in the analysis video, that Frankfurt don't really play like us, so there were going to be question marks. We haven't yet seen it fully. We saw it in half of last season, which was good, obviously, but yeah, it's we'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, also the perfect place for Semenyo. Yeah, we've got big up Doku. Drossard and Fartinelli and unreal slander names. Hello, Ed. Arsenal have to sell before they buy. Is that confirmation? Lose mentality, says M. I can see Marmish fitting in at PSG. Given that... Sorry, is this on Semenyo? We should consider his output in terms of key passes, etc. Semenyo always look better when he passes and crosses from the right. Sorry, what is it you're disagreeing on? The fact that he should go to Liverpool or Arsenal, is that right? If so, that's fair. It's about the path of least resistance. If he decides to go to Liverpool or Arsenal, yeah. Bit close there. I'll get closer. They will. Absolutely. Right, guys. I think we've been live for around 90 minutes, which is around how long I like to keep these Touchline talks. There will be a preview for the West Ham game being released later today, probably more so the evening. I've not recorded it yet, so probably more so later this evening. So a bit of a later one, so stay tuned for that. There won't be a watch along tomorrow because I'll be at the Etihad, but there will be a post-mortem. So make sure that you tap in, as they say, for that as well. We did it off stream. We hit a milestone on the channel. Or two, actually. We got to over 100 paid supporters across all my platforms. So thank you guys so much. If you would like to support, the link is there. And I'm going to pop the Hall of Fame. Someone was asking earlier, where is the Hall of Fame? This is the Hall of Fame that's about to pop up. So big up to all of you beautiful people. And the other milestone was that we got to over 33,333 subscribers. So we are now, more than now, a third of the way to the target, my dream target, which has been my dream, I'm going to say, since 2009. I would say that was when I first had the dream of, oh, being a YouTuber looks like fun. I want to do that. And I guess with that, it wasn't until like later I sort of, in my head, I was like, right, well, what defines like a successful YouTuber? And I know it's not just about subscriber count, because you can have millions of subs and have no views, but you know what I mean? Like they do sometimes go hand in hand. And I guess as a number, as a goal, as an objective goal, that's 100,000 subscribers. And I think it was around 2009. I think I've told this story before. That was where I certainly first started to notice the shift in what YouTube was. Because YouTube was founded in 2005. And for the first few years of its life cycle, YouTube was just funny, viral videos to upload, like the Sneezing Panda, Charlie Bit My Finger, music videos as well, I guess. That Smosh singing the Pokemon theme tune. It was just a load of silly stuff. It wasn't until around 2008, 2009-ish, I want to say, where you actually started to get actual creators who were dedicated to doing content creation as like an actual job, and you were getting like the first few people who got like 1 million subscribers. that was like, you know, Ryan Higger, Ray William Johnson, Shane Dawson TV, I think Tobuscus, who's now an insane person, but back then he was pretty cool. I said Ryan Naveen, yes. All of these people, that was when I was like, oh, that'd be sick. Can I somehow do that? Obviously, nothing came of it because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the resources. I didn't know what I was doing. But here we go. Yeah, KSI as well. Yes, all those FIFA people as well. So basically, I had that dream since then, and we're still a long way to go. Of course, we're only a third of the way there. As for what this is, but we are closer than I thought we would ever be to it. So the next milestone is going to be 50,000. Maybe we will do a celebration stream when that happens. I never watched PewDiePie, to be honest. But maybe we'll do a celebration stream when that happens, perhaps. Or maybe I'll just wait for the 100. I'm not sure what we'll do. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. We will play it by ear. Is it okay to say hello if we see you tomorrow? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think the last 3 times I've been to the Etihad, someone's come over and said hello. I was watching, I can't remember what the game was. I think it was, it was Aston Villa versus Arsenal. I was watching that because you can watch it on the concourse. I was watching that and like you know when you can clock that someone is like looking at you. I was like, I was like, I think he's looking at me, but okay. I was like watching the game. And I came over and he showed me my Twitter. He was like, excuse me, mate, is this you? I was like, yeah, it is, mate. Yeah. I think the time before that, someone who sat next to me knew who I was. Although he didn't recognize my face, he recognized my voice, which was interesting. And then the one before that, again, I think I was on the concourse and I just heard Nobbins. I was like, it's like, all right, mate. That was funny. So if you see me, of course, if you're nice, come say hello. If you're not nice, then I don't want to talk to you. But if you're nice, you just want to say hello, you know, what your thoughts on the game, or if you just want to have a chat, then absolutely come over and say hi. Absolutely, why not? I always like chatting to peeps. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Whether you are a subscriber or a member, leave a like on the video as you are hopping out. I'll catch you tomorrow for the post-mortem and later today for the tactical preview against West Ham. Stay tuned. Goodbye, guys.